Have you ever felt so angry that you wanted to explode? In our fast-paced world, even a glance can feel like a personal attack. It seems like everything around you is working against you, pushing you to lose control. But what if I told you there's a way to stay calm and not care? A way to maintain peace of mind no matter how chaotic the world around you gets? Stick around as I share powerful Stoic strategies to protect your inner peace. The struggle with emotions. In the modern world, every day feels like a battle with our emotions. From morning to night, we face challenges, work pressures, family responsibilities, and societal expectations. Deadlines, constant demands from both colleagues and loved ones, and most importantly, the flood of negative information coming from every direction. These are the elements that create a constant, unavoidable atmosphere of stress. It's easy to notice that negative emotions don't just emerge from major events. They can be triggered by the smallest, most unexpected situations. Have you ever felt like you couldn't control your emotions? A passing comment from a colleague that set you off, a small issue escalating into a big argument at home. Or maybe when you see some negative news on social media that leaves you angry or anxious all day long. This is the reality many of us face. In this world, it often feels like emotions are overwhelming, constantly taking the driver's seat in our lives. Feelings of anger, frustration, or anxiety can strike at any moment. And sometimes, we can't prevent ourselves from expressing those emotions in ways that we later regret. You've likely had moments where, even in a very small situation, you felt like you were losing control of yourself. But the thing to note here is that these emotions don't always reflect the situation accurately. In fact, these emotions often stem from our exaggerated reactions to things we cannot control. When we can't control situations, we easily slip into a state where our emotions dominate us. And when that happens, anger, frustration, or disappointment can harm our relationships, drain our energy, and even hurt ourselves. This is why learning to control our emotions is so important. If we don't know how to manage them, we risk letting negative emotions rule our lives and cause unwanted consequences. But the bigger question we must face is, how do we control our emotions in difficult situations? How can we stay calm when everything around us is pushing us toward stress and overwhelm? And is there a way to change how we react to the world around us, rather than letting emotions dictate our actions in everyday life? This is where Stoicism comes in as a powerful solution. It is an ancient philosophy, yet it is incredibly relevant and necessary in today's world. Stoicism teaches us not to try to change the world around us, but rather to change how we respond to it. Instead of letting negative emotions control us, Stoicism encourages us to accept what cannot be changed and focus on what we can control, our thoughts and actions. Let's dive deeper into how Stoicism can help you not just manage your emotions, but live a calmer, freer life, facing every challenge without being overly affected by the external world. Introducing Stoicism. To understand how we can control our emotions and remain calm in this challenging world, we need to turn to an ancient philosophy that's incredibly helpful in navigating the pressures of modern life. That philosophy is Stoicism, a philosophy that has existed for thousands of years and has helped countless people maintain tranquility and self-mastery in all circumstances. Developed by philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, Stoicism is not just a system of thought, but a way of life, a mindset that helps us face every challenge without allowing negative emotions to take over. The Stoic philosophers lived in times of turmoil and suffering. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, had to govern an empire during a period of constant war, while Epictetus, a former slave who became a philosopher, faced poverty and societal injustice. Despite their harsh circumstances, they never allowed the external world to disturb their inner peace. On the contrary, they found a way to maintain calmness and resilience regardless of what was happening outside. Marcus Aurelius shared his thoughts in his book Meditations, where he wrote about how to stay grounded in every circumstance, whether facing war or death. One of the most important lessons he left behind was learning how to meet difficulties without losing one's inner peace. Epictetus, despite enduring a life of hardship, taught that we cannot control the events that happen to us, but we can control how we react to them. And Seneca, with his profound philosophies, emphasized that happiness does not come from what we have, but from how we respond to what life brings. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the awareness of the limitations of what we can control. In a world that is constantly changing, sometimes unexpected and undesirable things will happen, an argument, a failure, or situations that we cannot change. The important thing is that instead of trying to change the uncontrollable, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. This might sound simple, but in reality, one of the greatest challenges in life is recognizing that we cannot control everything. This is especially true in the modern world, where external factors like work, relationships, or even global events can leave us feeling helpless and overwhelmed. However, Stoicism teaches us something crucial. We cannot change the events, but we can change how we respond to them. And that is the true power of Stoicism. For example, when you're facing a stressful situation at work, perhaps a critical meeting, an unreasonable request from your boss, or a setback you can't control, instead of letting negative emotions take over, Stoicism encourages you to pause. Step back and ask yourself, is this something I can change? If not, how will I choose to respond? This is the first step in practicing Stoicism in daily life. You'll notice that when you gain control over how you respond, not only will you reduce stress, but you'll also maintain inner peace. Stoicism also teaches us that acceptance is a vital part of emotional control. When you learn to accept that some things in life cannot be changed, you'll find yourself feeling freer. No longer stressing over what's beyond your control, you can focus on improving yourself and how you respond to what life brings. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or settling for less. Rather, it's understanding the limits of what we can change and acting wisely within those limits. In fact, applying Stoicism in daily life can help you develop greater endurance and patience. This doesn't just help you deal with current challenges, but also prepares you to face future difficulties without losing your composure. When you realize that emotions are merely temporary reactions to circumstances, you can manage them more effectively and not let fleeting feelings dictate your actions. Imagine you're faced with a stressful situation at work or in your family life. Instead of reacting immediately, yelling, or acting rashly, you can pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, does this situation impact my long-term goals? How can I stay calm and address the issue thoughtfully? When you begin applying Stoic principles in your daily life, you'll find that you become calmer, more confident, and less driven by negative emotions. 7 practical methods to control emotions using Stoicism. So, how can we apply Stoicism to our daily lives to control emotions and maintain calm? Stoicism isn't just a theory, it's a set of practical tools we can use every day. The Stoic philosophers offered specific methods to control emotions and maintain composure, even when faced with the most stressful situations. Here are 7 practical methods you can apply today to master your emotions. 1. Distinguish between what you can and cannot control. One of the core principles of Stoicism is learning to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. To stay calm, you need to recognize that many factors in life are beyond your control. The weather, the actions of others, or traffic accidents are not things you can change. However, you have full control over how you respond to these situations. Example, if you're stuck in traffic during rush hour, instead of getting angry or worrying about being late, recognize that it's something beyond your control. Instead, focus on staying calm, relaxing, and using the time to think or listen to an insightful podcast. 2. Accept that difficulties are part of life. Stoicism teaches us that difficulties and challenges are not inherently bad. In fact, challenges are an inevitable part of life. When you face failure or hardship, instead of feeling discouraged or angry, view it as an opportunity for growth and learning. Stoicism doesn't encourage us to avoid difficulties, but to face them and learn how to overcome them. Example, if you fail at an important project at work, instead of feeling defeated, consider it a chance to learn and improve for the future. The key is not allowing the feeling of failure to pull you down. 3. Maintain calm through meditation and silence. A powerful method to control emotions is to dedicate time each day to meditation or practicing silence. Stoicism encourages taking time to reflect on yourself and the world around you. Meditation helps you focus on the present and eliminates unnecessary anxieties. When you practice meditation, you learn how to prevent emotions from controlling you, and you gain the ability to master your emotions instead. Example, try dedicating 10 to 15 minutes each day to meditate, focusing on your breath. By doing this, you'll find it easier to maintain calm in stressful situations. 4. Remind yourself that emotions are temporary. One of the key lessons Stoicism offers is the awareness that emotions are temporary. When you face a stressful or anger-inducing situation, remind yourself that this feeling will eventually pass. Negative emotions only last as long as you let them. By realizing they are temporary, you can more easily move past them. Example, when you feel anger rising in a heated argument, Ask yourself, will this feeling last forever? Realizing that anger is temporary helps you maintain control and avoid letting it dictate your actions. 5. Self-control through journaling. Journaling is a powerful tool for processing emotions and thoughts. Stoicism encourages journaling daily to reflect on your feelings and actions. Writing down your thoughts and emotions can help you understand yourself and the situations around you, enabling you to make wiser decisions in the future. Example: each evening spend a few minutes writing down what you experienced that day, the emotions you felt, and how you handled them. This practice not only helps you release emotions, but also allows you to learn and grow. 6. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is an essential part of Stoicism. Focusing on the positive things in your life and appreciating what you have will help you maintain a more positive attitude and remain calm. Instead of dwelling on what you lack or the unfortunate circumstances, take time to recognize and be thankful for the good things in your life. Example: each morning write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be a great job, a wonderful friend, or a peaceful moment in your day. When you practice gratitude, you'll find that you feel more peaceful and less anxious. 7. Respond with reason, not emotion. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to respond to every situation with reason instead of emotion. When facing an issue, rather than reacting impulsively, pause and think about your options. Reason will guide you to make thoughtful decisions, rather than letting emotions control you. Example: when facing criticism from a boss or colleague, instead of reacting defensively or angrily, pause, consider the reasoning behind the feedback, and think about how you can improve. Responding with reason helps you stay calm and handle the situation maturely. These methods not only help you control your emotions, but also help you develop greater calm and clarity in your daily life. As you apply Stoic principles in practice, you'll notice that you become stronger, more confident, and able to maintain inner peace no matter what challenges come your way. The importance of accepting what you cannot change. Stoicism doesn't just teach us how to control negative emotions, but it also helps us understand that a crucial part of maintaining calm is accepting what we cannot change. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or surrendering. It's a powerful approach that helps us realize that some things are beyond our control, and what matters is how we respond to them. First and foremost, the most important lesson Stoicism teaches is that you can't change the circumstances. Life is full of surprises and challenges that we cannot control. Whether it's losing a job, receiving criticism from others, or making an unwanted mistake, these things lie outside your control. If you continually try to change them, you will only make yourself exhausted and anxious. Example: imagine you're in an important meeting, and you're interrupted by an urgent phone call. You can't control that phone call, but you can control how you react to it. You can stay calm, excuse yourself briefly, handle the call, and return to the meeting with confidence rather than feeling out of control or frustrated. These situations will always occur in our lives, and realizing that you cannot change what's happening is the first step in not allowing negative emotions to dominate you. When you accept that there are things you cannot change, you will no longer feel stressed or angry about those situations. Just because you can't change the weather, someone else's actions, or even a mistake at work, doesn't mean you have to give up or feel disappointed. Instead, you learn to focus on what you can control, how you react and handle every situation. Acceptance is not surrender, but strength in how you respond. One of the most crucial aspects Stoicism provides is distinguishing between acceptance and giving up. Acceptance doesn't mean abandoning your efforts or goals. It means understanding that some factors are beyond your control. Once you accept this, you'll find freedom in not letting uncontrollable factors affect your life too much. Example: if something unexpected happens, such as your flight being canceled, you might feel angry or anxious about being delayed. However, instead of dwelling in frustration, you can choose to accept the reality of the situation and find the best way to move forward. You could use the waiting time to read a book, relax, or plan for the next steps, rather than constantly thinking about what you can't change. Acceptance brings peace of mind and helps you handle challenges calmly. Acceptance helps you build resilience and learn from difficulties. When you accept the things you cannot change, you also develop the ability to face failure with greater resilience. Failure is not the end, but a part of the process of growth. Stoicism helps you see failure as an opportunity to learn and build inner strength, rather than feeling discouraged or blaming yourself. Accepting that you can't change the past helps you focus on improving for the future with more strength. Example: if you experience a failure at work, instead of feeling guilty or disheartened, See it as an opportunity to learn. Perhaps you were lacking in planning or communication, but instead of blaming the circumstances, you can accept the mistake, learn from it, and prepare for the next challenge. This acceptance doesn't weaken you, but strengthens you, as you are no longer bogged down by anger or guilt. Acceptance and developing inner strength. Acceptance not only helps you face difficult situations, but also builds inner strength, enabling you to maintain composure in all circumstances. When you stop trying to change things that you cannot control, you will notice you can face life with greater stability. Inner strength comes from understanding that, no matter what challenges arise, you still have the ability to control yourself and respond to them in a positive way. Example, when dealing with a negative person in your life, instead of reacting with frustration or anger, you can accept that this is their behavior, and you can't change them. You decide how you respond, perhaps remaining calm or choosing to respond thoughtfully. By accepting that you can't change others and focusing on controlling your own reactions, you maintain calmness and are in control of the situation. Finding freedom in acceptance. Accepting that you cannot change everything is not a surrender, it's a way to free yourself from unnecessary worries and stress. You no longer need to fight the world or stress over things you can't change. When you practice acceptance, you experience a sense of freedom because you are no longer controlled by factors beyond your control. When you apply the principle of acceptance from Stoicism, you will no longer feel stuck in situations outside your control. You will learn to stay calm and not let external factors disturb your peace. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about having the strength to keep moving forward, no matter how the world around you changes. That is the key to living a peaceful and happy life. Mastering emotions through journaling and self-reflection. Journaling is not just about recording events in your life, but a powerful tool to help us master our emotions and develop self-awareness. When we face intense emotions, whether it's anger, anxiety, or frustration, writing down our thoughts and feelings can be an excellent way to find calm and take control of them. Stoicism emphasizes that self-awareness is the foundation of emotional control. By reflecting on ourselves, we gain a better understanding of how we react to situations, allowing us to adjust our approach to negative emotions rather than letting them dictate our actions. Journaling is a strong practice of self-awareness, enabling you to dig deeper into your emotions and learn how to handle uncomfortable feelings without losing your composure. Journaling, self-awareness, and personal growth. Taking time each day to write down your thoughts, emotions, and reactions helps you develop self-awareness. When you write, you're not just recording events but also reflecting on how you responded to them. This doesn't just help you release tension, it also helps you identify harmful emotional patterns so that you can change the way you react in the future. Example, a stressful workday might leave you feeling drained and quick to anger. Instead of holding onto those emotions and letting them control you, you can write about how you felt during the day. By doing this, you give yourself the chance to understand why you felt the way you did and how you can improve your reaction in the future. Journaling helps you recognize those emotions and not let them rule your actions. Another example is when someone makes you angry in a situation. Writing down how you feel will allow you to gain insight into why you're upset and whether there's a way to change your attitude so that negative emotions no longer affect you. Through self-awareness in writing, you can become more thoughtful in how you interact with others and with yourself. Reflection helps you control emotions in the future. Journaling doesn't just help you release emotions, it also gives you an opportunity to look back at your mistakes in handling those emotions and improve in the future. After each day, you can reflect on the situations you encountered and think about how you could approach similar situations with greater calm and patience in the future. Example, after having a heated argument with a loved one, you might write in your journal about how you reacted, what emotions you experienced, and what you could have done differently. Maybe you realize you reacted too harshly, or perhaps you see that you didn't listen carefully enough before speaking. Writing about these experiences will help you realize that you can gain control over your emotions in the future and not let them dominate your actions. Releasing negative emotions and maintaining calm. One of the significant benefits of journaling is its ability to help you release negative emotions healthily. When you face a powerful emotion, such as anger or frustration, journaling helps you avoid holding those emotions inside. You can write out everything you're feeling without the fear of judgment. This process helps reduce stress and anxiety, enabling you to manage your emotions and keep your calm. Journaling can also be a way to clear your mind of clutter, allowing you to feel lighter and more focused. Example, when you feel overwhelmed after a long day, instead of letting your mind stay full of negative thoughts, you can take a few minutes to write them down. You could write about what made you feel angry or anxious and how you'll deal with those feelings more calmly the next day. Through writing, you can work through your emotions and prepare yourself to face tomorrow with a clear and balanced mindset. The importance of journaling in developing patience and self-control. Journaling is not only a tool for releasing emotions, but also a practice that helps you build patience and self-control. Every time you write about difficult situations where controlling your emotions was challenging, you are practicing self-discipline. Writing down these emotions doesn't just help you understand yourself better, it also strengthens your ability to be patient and self-regulate. Example, after an undesirable event, such as a failed meeting, instead of letting the feeling of disappointment overwhelm you, you can write about how you could improve yourself next time. You may note what you've learned from the situation and how you'll apply those lessons to become stronger. Journaling helps you develop patience and emotional restraint, preventing emotions from overpowering you. When you practice journaling and self-reflection, not only do you gain control over your emotions, but you also cultivate calmness, clarity, and patience in every situation. Journaling doesn't just help you release negative emotions, it helps you become stronger, wiser, and more composed when dealing with life's challenges. We've explored the powerful principles of Stoicism together, methods that help us not only control our emotions but also create peace in this challenging life. The philosophies of Stoic masters like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca are not just simple pieces of advice. They are profound lessons that guide us to live a life of meaning, self-control, and clarity. Remember, in today's world, we cannot control everything around us. Work, relationships, life challenges, and even the actions of others, all of these lie beyond our control. However, the only thing we can completely control is how we respond to these events. Our reactions are the determining factor for the peace and happiness we find in life. We've discussed the importance of distinguishing between what we can and cannot control, accepting difficulties as a part of life, and how to practice calmness through meditation, journaling, and self-reflection. Each of these methods helps us become more resilient, allowing us to face challenges with wisdom and poise rather than being swept away by fleeting emotions. So the question is, how will you apply these lessons to your life? Where will you start to change the way you respond to the world around you? Are you ready to accept the things you cannot change and focus on what you can control, your thoughts, feelings, and actions? The key is not just learning these theories, but putting them into practice every day. It's only when you start applying the principles of Stoicism to real-life situations that you will truly feel the change. When you face stressful situations, negative emotions, instead of reacting impulsively, you will learn to pause, reflect, and choose a more thoughtful and calm response. And that is the key to living a happier, more peaceful life. If you believe these Stoic principles could change your life, I invite you to start practicing them today. You could begin by journaling every day, dedicating a few minutes to meditation to control your mind, or simply focusing on responding rationally to stressful situations. Don't let negative emotions control your life. Start changing today, one small step at a time. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any future videos about applying Stoicism and other profound philosophies in modern life. Share your story with us in the comments. How have you applied these principles and what results have you experienced? We'd love to hear about your journey in finding inner peace and overcoming challenges in your life. Finally, remember that peace is not something you find out there, but something you build from within yourself. We all have the power to learn how to master our emotions and live a life full of freedom and tranquility. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.